Hey there everybody, it's ShadwSonic here to record another collection video. I just figured that I probably should do these all at once so that they're out of the way, more or less. Right now I'm going to go over my PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games. Those altogether are another really big chunk of my gaming library, so trying to fit anything more in would make the video take too long. Anyway, here we go. First we have Kingdom Hearts. Probably don't want to do this before. I probably want to wait to do this until I've got the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 1.5 release for the PS3, which is basically this but better and with Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. But I have played through this before, so yeah, that should be available about as soon as I actually get the game, that version of the game. Over here we have Kingdom Hearts 2. You might or might not be able to tell that this thing is plastic wrapped, but I actually have 2 copies of this game due to a bit of bungling on Amazon's part, and the other one I've played through, so I can do this. Alright, here we have Ratchet & Clank. I've recently completed the first game 100%, and the second one, I'm onto the challenge mode playthrough, which I'd need to go through in order to 100% it. Haven't done number 3 yet, but that's only because I'm wanting to do them in order. See, here we have Lego Harry Potter years 5 through 7. I've got years 1 through 4 on the 360, but this came bundled with the system. Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes, again, came bundled with the system. Little Big Planet Karting. I don't think this actually requires PlayStation Move, it's just compatible with it, so I might be able to do this at some point. I haven't actually tried it yet, though. Sonic Mega Collection Plus. I actually have this cover as the default background on my iPhone. Anyway, this contains Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Spinball, and Sonic 3D Blast, all for the Genesis. It also includes... what were the games for the... hang on a sec, let me just get out the manual, because it actually lists what each of the Game Gear games are. Probably should have looked that up before I started recording, huh? Okay, just a sec. Okay. Here we go. We have Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Gear, Sonic Labyrinth for the Game Gear, Sonic Drift 1 for the Game Gear, Sonic Chaos for the Game Gear, Sonic Blast for the Game Gear, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine for the Game Gear. So, between this and Sonic Gems Collection, I basically have the entirety of the Game Gear library. Yeah. This game also has a few unlockable ones, and while some of them are just extra modes for the other Sonics and thus don't really count, there are 3, maybe 4 that do. Those are this little arcade game called Flicky. That's the maybe there because there's not really much to it. There's also Ristar, which is a great game. There's Comix Zone, which is one of those 2D fighting style games, except that it actually has levels and a story instead of simply beat all the opponents. I've beaten that a couple times. And it also has the Ooze, which is a really fun game, but I have never gotten past the second world because they hide their items of 100%ing so freaking well, and nobody has written a guide on it yet. Or LP'd the game to 100% completion. So, yeah, that is a problem. But eventually I do plan on figuring out how to beat that game completely, and when I do, well, it's gonna be beat. And LP'd. Come on. Here we have Sonic Heroes, the first Sonic game I ever owned, if you don't count this little edutainment thing for the sake of Pico, which I don't. Yeah, I'd definitely be able to do this, but it holds to the same A ranks, restarts rule that I would have for Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in order to 100%. You know what I mean. Here we have Sonic Riders. It has enough of a story and some missions to warrant going through that, though I don't know if I'd be grinding up all the rings in order to get every last single board. Especially since the first time I technically 100%ed this game, I did it so fast that one of the characters hadn't been unlocked because I did it in too few game hours. Alright, Shadow the Hedgehog. I really like this game, actually. So I could definitely do that, but it also has the A-rank thing, and it's a little confusing about how levels get unlocked and whatnot. I mean, not confusing in the way that I couldn't explain it, but in a way that it's going to make recording it a bit of an issue to schedule, so just keep that in mind. I will definitely LP it at some point, though. Like I will with most of my games. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. That was my second LP. Sly 2 Band of Thieves drops the parts that make it seem like Crash Bandicoot, yet heightens the parts that made the first game seem different than Crash Bandicoot. So, all around awesome. Game 3 pretty much improves on Sly 2 in a lot of ways, but it doesn't have clue bottles. Whether that's a positive or negative depends on your personal tastes. Spyro, Enter the Dragonfly. Probably the worst of the good Spyros, I'd say, but the fact that it is a good Spyro means I would want to LP it. Spyro Hero's Tale. This was actually making me hopeful for the series. And then that stupid Legend of Spyro trilogy had to ruin everything. Definitely LPing this at some point. Crash Wrath of Cortex. Maybe a bit of a copy-paste of Crash Bandicoot Warped, but that game was fun enough to warrant playing through a whole new set of levels with the same formula. Crash Nitro Kart. Like the original game for Crash Team Racing, except not as many stages, a bit higher graphics, and a few features that never really get used. Still worth playing, though. Crash Twinsanity. This was fun, but it kind of took away the whole levels structure of the game. Kind of bittersweet for me. They made some changes that I don't like, but overall I really like this game. Crash Tag Team Racing. This game was made to be a combination of everything Crash had been up to this point. Personally, I think they might have tried to combine too many things into one game, but I could still play through it. Crash of the Titans. Ugh. You know how a lot of people hate Sonic the Hedgehog 2006? Or Sonic 06 as it's more likely called? That's how I feel toward this game, and for the much better reason that its gameplay has nothing in common with Crash! That and the gameplay that is there is dull as heck. I might LP it at some point, but if that were the case, it would probably be the sort of LP you watch to see someone rage about how awful a game is, and not see someone thoroughly enjoy a game sort of LP. You understand what I'm saying. In fact, part of me thinks I might want to burn this after that LP is done. Taz Wanted. This was a fun enough game. A bit easy for me now, but otherwise fine. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. Not as fun as Taz Wanted, but still good if you aren't too skilled. Which, unfortunately, I am. Monsters, Inc. Haven't beaten this 100%, but that's not really due to challenge, and more due to they hid things in completely impossible to detect places. I could still do an LP of that at some point, maybe. Bionicle. Again, easy game, too much for my tastes, but if it wasn't too easy for my tastes, then I would enjoy it. And I know that I'm really skilled, so that means it's still a good game, I suppose. I could LP this at some point as well. And then Lego Star Wars 1 and 2. I know I already showed in the last video that I have Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, but I have that version as well. And it looks like I've run out of games to showcase. So, again, here's that pile. Doesn't actually look as big as the Wii one the Wii pile for some reason. But yeah, that's all my PS2 and PS3 games. So, I guess all that's left is to do the end of video shtick. You're up, Anthony. It's Waluigi! Anyway, if you liked the video, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and favorite using the buttons below so that I can become super popular! And him too. Thank you. So, if you're interested in an LP in any of these games, then be sure to request that in the comments below. And if you're thinking of a Wii or GameCube game, then check out my previous collection video, which is already up. Until next collection video, or I start the next LP, this is ShadwSonic signing out.